In that time, our world has taken so many steps in the wrong direction. In the negative utopia, science, technology, social organization, dehumanization. In the negative utopia, science, technology, social organization. Technology, social organization, dehumanization. Technology, social organization.
Happy New Year with the new Leo Zagami show, news, geopolitical and occult analysis. Leo Zagami and Christie. It's the year 2024, and we have not completely abandoned the occult of the Illuminati, because there will always be some analysis regarding maybe occult topics. Every now and then we have also the occasional special, but we're gonna go back to the news, to the contemporary news. So welcome everybody, spread the word, spread the news that we are back with the news. The Leo Zagami show, in fact, will offer today, for the first episode, not only the last week of reports on this and that, but also we will have a guest at 6 p.m. here in Palm Springs. That means 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna have an investigative journalist that has been following very closely the Jeffrey Epstein case, and actually during his investigation into the Ghislaine Maxwell court trial, he actually got involved directly because, well, I don't want to say too much. I'm not going to say too much, but we have definitely some scoops. We have a great show in front of us. It's the 6th of January of the year of the Lord 2024 with Leo and Christy. Christy, we have the sponsors also, huh?
Yes. Okay, so this year, to begin this glorious new year.
You like the new intro to the show?
I think that intro is absolutely perfect. We're going to do the dance at the end. Yes. Because this is the news and we want to be serious. So, okay, so we have...
Serious? You mean from Sirius? Okay.
Right. I'm cereal. Okay. Malgarzada and Bruce and Daniel Estes and Corey Chavez. Thank you very much. I don't know if I said Corey last week, so I wanted to make sure I said him this week. I can't remember. So thank you all for your donations and everybody who bought the book. There was a lot of people that bought the book this week, so everybody's getting so much smarter since they're reading your book.
And for those who have not read volume 8, I would suggest they go there because there's a lot on Jeffrey Epstein that is really being previewed in that book. So important also, especially because I want to open this show with news of something which is not related directly to Jeffrey Epstein, even if, of course, Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein were actually pals. We have a photo in my book of them together in Buckingham Palace, if you remember. They hanged out here. See, there is Harvey Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell with the mask on. And they were basically the trio who abused and offered sex slaves to the elite of the New World Order. I'm citing myself here. For years, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell at the mask ball organized for the 18th birthday of Princess Beatrice in July 2006 at Windsor Castle. But I repeat, this book is very important, volume 8, because it talks about how people literally sell their soul to the devil in Hollywood. And I have today an opening which might shock some people, so beware. Try to not get any kids to listen to this because it's not so easy. But comedian Cat Williams is very funny. But in this interview, he admits that Harvey Weinstein asked him to suck his penis. I know.
Blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
I like this guy. I mean, I like what he's saying. I like his statement. Listen, because this is very important.
That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down.
Well, go down in what sense? Sorry. I mean, guys, this book is entitled To the Sound of the Devil and the Great Reset, Confessions on Illuminati, Volume 8. And of course, we have also Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, connected to everything that is coming out now. And like I said just a moment ago, we're going to have a guest, because in this new format, we're also going to have guests. And for my first show, I really want to have a special guest who I held in high esteem, because he's an investigative journalist that always goes there in the Carl Rittenhouse murder thing. When he actually, that kid that was simply trying to defend himself, he was there. He was there. He was there for this Ghislaine Maxwell trial that most of the media really refused to follow. I mean, I'm going to show you how few people were present there when there was the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, because it's really a shame that suddenly they are coming out with all this after having it covered the whole thing, in the sense covered in the sense not covered as covered, but covered in the sense as
covered up.
Covered up. That's it. This was in December 2021. Our friend Kristen Harris in front of the courthouse where they were doing the holding the Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
This is what we have for media outside of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. This is day 10, week 3. The defense has taken its stand. Just wanted to show you, we have like one tripod out here and some dude just kind of chilling.
That was it. There was nobody. There was only the runaway. And that's why then, when the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell arrived into the picture, and the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell, guys, is a really evil figure. Very powerful one. They're all very powerful, the sisters of Ghislaine Maxwell. She's in particular very powerful because she is described in her Wikipedia by the World Economic Forum of Klaus Schwab as the pioneer of the internet. I mean, she was one of the creators of the Magellan search engine. The other sister is also somebody who was controlling the whole of the British internet right from the beginning. These people had a lot of power. And let's not forget the father, who also died in very suspicious circumstances. And by the way, this is what happened with always Kristen Harris there, with the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell, who suddenly started to photograph the journalists who were outside of the court trial. And it's something, that was never done before. And then what happened later? Well, what happened later?
We should look.
We discussed directly with Kristen Harris.
Happened in the chat. She is here in support of Ghislaine Maxwell. At least now you're famous. Probably was before, huh? I don't know. Was she? I have no idea. It's on a World Economic Forum.
Why say that if you have no idea?
I'm just a passerby.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't harass her.
I'm not harassing her. I think.
What's going on?
Who's harassing her? You are with the camera? With the camera you are? That's your opinion. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Now, the problem here is that a few hours after, a few hours after the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell photographed also Kristen Harris, the Airbnb of Kristen Harris got broken into and his computer got stolen. Now, we will be discussing this with Kristen Harris, and we will, of course, discuss also all the latest findings, because these various rounds of documents, in total, there will be around 245 that have been released since Wednesday, are continuously getting the attention of the media, mostly because of the names involved. We have all kinds of names involved in the private, secretive life of probably what was the biggest and most important prostitution racket in the world, but prostitution racket made also minors, a completely illegal affair headed by people close to the Mossad. because the Mossad in Israel is, like the CIA in recent years, has been overtaken by Sabbatian Frankists, by leftists, by people with no values, with no ethics, no morals. Today, as you know, if you want to join the CIA, the most important value is if you are LGBTQ friendly, if you are fluid, if you have some gender, whatever, flowing somewhere. But the important thing, defending your country and having proper values, well, that's out of the window. The values are out of that. So here, this woman, really evil, really evil.
Oh, vehicles are coming.
And we need to understand who this person is, so you have a very clear idea here. So I want to put you on the Wikipedia so you can see it for yourself. When that journalist from the New York Times attacked Christian Harris, saying, you know, why are you talking about the World Economic Forum? Is that like, almost like he couldn't mention the World Economic Forum, when this is information that is publicly available about the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell, Isabel Maxwell.
She looks just like her.
It looks, and it says here, a French-born entrepreneur and the co-founder of Magellan, an early search engine that was acquired by Excite. Maxwell has been listed as a technology pioneer of the World Economic Forum.
That's a big thing.
She served as the president of Comtouch, an Israeli internet company that became Siren, which is connected to the Mossad. She was a director of Israel Venture Network. And on top of that, she herself says she was brought up Anglican, but Isabel was very taken by the Jewish faith and the politics in Israel. Now, she was taken by the Jewish Sabbatian Frankist faith. Remember, we have to distinguish here. Otherwise, we go into the anti-Semitic rants, which I hate, which are prevalent these days in the alternative media. You need to get your facts right. Christy, did you thank our sponsors?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I did.
We thank Margot Rozzada, Bruce
Yes,
Kodish,
I did.
Daniel Estes,
Yes.
Coy Chavez. Well,
Yes.
guys, if you want to sponsor us, you can do it through GoFundMe. That is something that it's, of course, available also for people who use PayPal, because we have been banned from PayPal a long time ago. But we would like, of course, to receive your help, and we can do it only through GoFundMe or Cash App. Now, you will find these links, of course, on zagami.com, next to my latest articles. I'm going to also put here on the screen, so you can check it out for yourself, the GoFundMe account. And let's move forward, because we have a lot of news here, a lot of news, so many things happen in 1 week. And we need to analyze them, but we need to analyze them also with a sense of clarity. Because there is so much confusion in the air. We have had Blinken just arriving in Turkey, talking with Erdogan. This is basically what Blinken has said. But then after, I want to say a few words about Turkey, because Turkey is a nation that is really ambiguous. Turkey is the nation that has supported ISIS and Hamas, doesn't recognize the terrorist threat of Hamas. Yeah, they actually protect Hamas. And during the height of the ISIL country that they had built up, that kind of enclave of fundamentalists, they were definitely supporting ISIS. There is plenty of evidence. And that's because Turkey is a way for NATO to manipulate Islamic fundamentalism against Sunni Islamic fundamentalists, usually, against the Shiites and against Iran. But this is what Blinken, who is trying to do his shuttle diplomacy, a bit like Harry Kissinger, but he's no Harry Kissinger. This guy is no Harry Kissinger. He doesn't actually manage to achieve anything. This is the big problem with this guy. I was about to call him Harry Blinken. No, the thing is his hairstyle. Here, mainly, we have to focus
What's
on...
wrong with it?
I mean, what kind of hairstyle is this?
It's kind of
both in Turkey and here in Greece, with both our Turkish and Greek allies and partners. We talked about our NATO alliance, the tremendous solidarity that we have and continue to have in supporting Ukraine against the Russian aggression. We talked a little bit about steps to prepare for
we
the
have Christy, who has some experience with hairstyles. Christy, what kind of hairstyle is this?
What did I just say?
I don't know.
It's
It's
a
a
wind tunnel swoop.
Wind tunnel swoop. Okay,
Just made that up.
summit that will take place in Washington. In Turkey, we also focused extensively on what Turkey can do, using its influence, using its ties, to help prevent the conflict in the Middle East from spreading. And we also talked about the role that Turkey can play both in the day after for Gaza in terms of the challenging questions of governance, Palestinian-led governance, security, rebuilding, as well as the work that it can do with others to try to produce more lasting, durable peace and security in the region. Leaving Greece tonight, we're now heading back to the Middle East. This is the fourth time since October 7th that I'll be in the region. And we'll be there at what remains an incredibly difficult time.
Okay, he says he's been so many times in the region. Has he achieved? Nothing. This is the problem with this guy. His hairstyle gets in the way of his faculties. You need to get less gel on your hairstyle.
Maybe he should be bald like you.
Yeah,
and use all of this brain power.
Yeah, a little bit better, because I mean, this is Blinken today in Turkey before leaving for more talks also with his Greek counterpart. He went also to Greece. He's of course traveling through the whole area, trying to achieve something. He never manages to achieve anything. At least when you had Henry Kissinger's shuttle diplomacy, there were some concrete achievements. This is a complete waste of time, but whatever.
For the region in the wake of the October 7th attacks on Israel. As we've said from day one, we have an intense focus on preventing this conflict from spreading. A big part of the conversations we'll be having over the coming days with all of our allies and partners is looking at the steps that they can take, using the influence and ties that they have to do just that, to make sure that this conflict doesn't spread. Second, we'll be looking at what we can do to maximize the protection for civilians, maximize humanitarian assistance getting into them, and also to get hostages out of Gaza. The situation for men, women, and children in Gaza remains dire. Far too many Palestinians have been killed, especially children. Far too many remain incredibly challenged in terms of their access to food, to water, to medicine, to the essentials of life. So it's imperative that we see a substantial and sustained increase in the assistance that's getting to them, as well as the protection of civilians in general.
In front of Air Force 2, this was, I think it was Air Force 2, because usually they give Air Force 1 only to the president. This book, I don't think ever came out in the English language. Daniel Estulin is known to the English-speaking world for his work on the Club Bilderberg, also on the Tavistock Institute. But in this book, he focuses on ISIS. And in this book, basically, he says that ISIS is the fruit, the result of a joint conspiracy between NATO and the Council of Cooperation of the Gulf. That basically it's being created to fight Iran and to try to stop or counteract the Iranian influence in places like Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and basically all the area where you have Libya, the Mediterranean coast, North Africa. So we have also a confirmation in a 2007 article by the famous Seymour Hersh, always great journalist, won a Pulitzer, and Hersh basically said that he made it very clear that the intention of the Americans, the Saudi and the Israelis was to create basically ISIS and get them to do what they... That's why this week we had suddenly a terrorist attack in Iran by ISIS. It's like saying a terrorist attack in Iran by the CIA, run by the woke ISIS friendly, how you want to call them? I mean, these people are so... Okay. we had another important information this because this week we have a lot of news that is coming through and that we need in one way or another to report. Now, apparently the California sex workers are fighting for their labor rights. So sexy dancers, escorts, prostitutes of all kinds. But the thing is, I never understand why they are the most ugly ones who end up in these public demonstrations.
Strong!
Over the past year in Los Angeles County, California, labor movements related to entertainment such as actors, writers, and production workers have generated attention-grabbing headlines fueled by celebrities.
We are labor and we stand tall and we demand respect.
Solidarity with other unions and industry impact. But another type of performer has also been fighting for what they see as fair labor conditions in California as well. Sex workers. In May 2022, dancers from the Star Garden Topless Bar announced their intention to unionize for better wages, safer working conditions, and against allegedly discriminatory hiring practices.
We're at Star Garden Topless Dive Bar in North Hollywood, and I am one of many strippers who work at this club that are currently on strike, locked out, because we delivered a lawful petition regarding our safety at this club, and we wanted them to change.
The thing is that you can, I mean, there is some really, I mean, these are the most bizarre sex workers I could have ever encountered. I mean, check out this one. I mean,
this is made up of the disciplinary written warnings that have been given to Cinder.
And one final write-up.
And one final write-up. One final warning is included in this amazing piece.
Dancers say that these activities are a long-recognized tradition of their profession, and the penalties from the management are in retaliation for engaging in union activity.
These dancers, these workers, these strippers have been at this for such a long time, and all they've ever asked for is to be treated fairly and paid fairly and respected.
We did not know that the business was going to be cashless, and we had heard across the bargaining table that they were going to charge a cover fee, and we were very against that, and especially for how much it was. So the club went from being with no cover fee at all, $0, to $40. The fact that they continuously stand between us and the customer, between us and make.
Well, I mean, it doesn't get any better. Eh? Check this out.
Sesta Fosta is what put everybody back on the street. So one of the things I'm going to be talking about today is Sesta Fosta. It's supposed to be a sex trafficking bill that protects children. I had retired in 2013. I'd retired from all forms of sex work. But because I was working as a BDS...
Well, sorry, guys. It's California. I know. Forgive us.
Satan is.
I know, it's just outrageous.
Well, God doesn't like that stuff. So if you're doing that, you're hooked with Satan. So that's it.
But we are in a country in which we have a president who is very confused. Yesterday, he gave a speech where basically he accused half of America of being Nazis, because that's what he did. I mean, when you say things like this, you are in a way creating a divide that...
Donald Trump, cool. Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Oh, I don't like that one.
Well, this is the Oracle of Trump. We will consult them at the appropriate time.
I know, but I had to do it before you show Biden. It gives me power.
It gives you power?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, like I said, yesterday, Biden went on a rant of rants, and it was really disturbing, because, I mean, like I said, it's disturbing to see somebody who compares Trump to Nazis. Means that he's implying that half of the country who supports Trump, actually more than half of the country, that we are all Nazis. So let's check out this actually angle where he has also the how you call it, the where he reads. Okay, the
oppose him, vermin.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Yeah, it's very
the blood of America is being poisoned, echoing the same exact language used in Nazi Germany.
Hate him.
You can't be pro-insurrectionist and pro-American.
Okay, today is the 6th, and of course, the 6th of January, 3 years ago, already 3 years have gone by since then. 3 years.
Wow,
Since
there's people that are still
sitting in jail because they fall into a trap. Now, I know that today Alex and other people are talking about it, of course, because it's an important event that characterized the recent history of America, but not for the better, rather the worse, because falling into an FBI trap laid down by Nancy Pelosi with the help of the Capitol Hill police is not being smart, absolutely. And I had warned at the end of 2020 not to fall into this trap. I actually said from November to focus directly on the 2024.
You did. You said it. You had it on your Facebook as a cover photo.
Absolutely. And I said it also on the Alex Jones show. Nobody wanted to listen to me. And now what are you doing? Now we are in 2024 and you're going to be electing Donald J. Trump. But a lot of people ended up in jail in the meantime. And this guy, well,
He's been blacklisted since you said that.
Yeah,
so.
This guy is a clown, Joe Biden. Absolutely. What a clown. He's the clown of clowns. I see.
You know, Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. At his rally, he jokes about an intruder whipped up by the big Trump lie, taking a hammer to Paul Pelosi's skull and echoing the very same words used on January 6th. Where's Nancy? And he thinks that's funny. He laughed about it. What a sick. My God.
God, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
He's such a liar.
He is really.
He's disgusting. He's disgusting.
But he's so confused. The guy doesn't even know where he is. After he gave this speech, he got lost in the airport because he left for Delaware again. Check this out. They literally had to go and pick him up because he didn't know where he was. At one point, a military guy had to intervene and tell him where to go. He was completely confused. Watch. Completely confused. Completely. I mean, he was wandering around.
I would feel sorry for him, but I don't because he's so evil. So it would be elder abuse.
So at this point, the guy just picks him up.
Who cares?
Picks him up and says, listen, your car with the Secret Service is just there. Brings him there and then delivers him directly into the hands of the Secret Service because the guy is completely out of this world. He's not, I mean, this is not normal. This is absolutely not normal. And the way he interacts, the way he fomented all this negativity, calling half of the country Nazis, basically, and doing what that's us. It's incredible. I mean, it's amazing. Watch.
Please take your seats. The program will begin shortly.
Thank you.
Okay, now we wonder how much money did they pay to 4 more years, 4 more. I mean, what are these people smoking? Crack? What is this? It's a joke. 4 more years? Of what?
Today, the choice is clear.
Hey.
Donald Trump's campaign is about him. Not America, not you.
Yeah, sure.
Donald Trump's campaign is obsessed with the past, not the future. He's willing to sacrifice our democracy.
Listen, the only one who is really sacrificing the democracy is him. He is trying to get Trump off the actual ballots. He's trying to make it impossible to actually elect the guy, and he's talking about democracy. This guy's a joke. And anybody who votes for this guy is obviously going to participate, and this time it will consciously happen because, in 2020, you could still say the word. There was kind of a comatose state induced by the pandemic, but now you don't have any excuse. Yeah. If you vote this guy in 2024, you are indulging and promoting and co-participant to a crime. Make it very clear. This is very clear. It has to be
God's eyes too, I think,
and also in God's eyes. I mean, completely. But we are in a situation at the moment where the world is seeing, of course, still a lot of turmoil. There is this war, and suddenly an Alaska Airlines plane in the middle. I mean,
all this news is so exciting.
It's just like that. Before we go to the Alaska plane, I would like to play instead what I think was the best reply, in a way, Trump could give yesterday after what Biden said in his remarks in Mason City, Iowa, where, of course, soon we will have the opening for the primaries. So let's see Donald.
Leaders have gone woke, and we're teetering on the brink of World War III. And I am the only candidate in this race who's up to the task of saving America from every single Biden disaster, starting on day one.
Okay, Christy wants to say something. Christy.
I believe that Trump is the reincarnated spirit of George Washington.
That's what actually he came up with yesterday.
I've always seen him this way.
He actually...
But not in the 80s, but I do now. I see him like this.
Absolutely. And of course, Trump's answer to Biden was simply that Biden is a weak candidate. And that's why he started with all this nonsense.
Power.
All lies.
Our campaign is different. For me and Kamala, our campaign is about America. It's about you. It's about every age.
Yeah, it's about you, Hunter Biden, all the crack, the cocaine, the horse, the hookers, the LGB, whatever transformation of America you have in mind, so you can break the American, destroy the American dream.
You can't break the American spirit.
The American spirit.
You can't. It's unbreakable. It's unstoppable, and it will fight through all this evil.
And that's why this year the Leo Zagami Show wants you to support this show more than ever, because, like I said, we will still continue to bring you the occasional show based, of course, on esotericism, occultism, and all the rest. We're going to analyze things also. And now we have actually information coming up from a place called Miami in Florida. We all know Miami. It's a place that is very famous. Now, Miami. Yes. Miami is known for Miami Vice.
I've never been there.
Was that also the place where Scarface, the movie, was in Florida somewhere? Was somewhere in Florida? I don't know if it was Miami.
It might be, though.
Yeah, but in any case, what happened in a Miami mall at the beginning of the year is really making everybody wonder, because we have somebody like Paul Joseph Watson, who has brushed off the whole thing, saying that basically it's all a scam. I would like to address this, because Christy was actually very helpful in putting together this investigation, thanks to a friend who intervened. I was brushing off the whole thing as a fraud, as just the most demented piece of info that, as usual, gets out of hand on the internet and starts becoming the topic of conspiracy theories, talking about aliens. We are in 6 days, there will be a very important event that regards the UFO world. It's a secret meeting that has prompted speculation of what the government is really hiding. This is going to happen in 6 days. Metro UK has also talked about it. But before we move further, of course, we need an X-File team, kind of. This time a bit medieval.
Okay. Who am I, Scully or Mulder?
You are...
I have to... I'm... I don't know. You're going to dunk me, so you're Scully. Sorry for that.
You can be Scotty. I want to be gender fluid.
But I'm going to try to bring in Scotty.
A medieval X-Files, and we arrive at this piece of information which is very important, that regards what happened in Miami. So was it bullshit or not that the aliens suddenly appeared in a mall, or was it only for juveniles that created the biggest security hazard that we can ever imagine? Because something went on, guys. Something went on at the beginning of this year in Miami, and we don't really know what yet. We don't really, because like I said, I was ready to brush off this whole thing as nonsense. I thought, okay, this is the usual BS. There was a lot of fake videos around about it. Let's start from the event that apparently triggered this whole scenario that then is described in various ways. Either is described in the way that the media, I mean, we have to, of course, start from the beginning of the story. So I'm gonna be very precise and rewind at the beginning of the year, when a group of juvenile delinquents hijack a shopping mall. Completely hijack a shopping mall. Okay, here we go.
After an incident late last night at Bayside Marketplace, they're charged with burglary, grand theft, and battery, among other things.
Yeah, mess out there. NBC6's Amanda Placencia joins us live from Bayside, where things are once again calm, Amanda, but it is a major concern. A lot of cruise ship passengers come here. It's a tourist destination.
Yes, that's right, Constance and Lorena. Last night, just havoc ensued here at Bayside after a group of teens got into a fight. Chaos happened afterwards, and now those 4 teens who were arrested are expected to appear in juvenile court later today. And here are some of those videos that were posted all over social media last night, showing that massive police presence. According to arrest reports, police say a large group of teens started causing a riot inside the mall and were lighting loud fireworks. They were entering businesses, possibly armed with sticks, causing damage inside stores. And just
But this then became the base for the biggest TikTok alien story that went literally out of control, guys. So like I said, I initially wanted to take the official position. And of course, this is what the police says, because it might be all fake news. But there is some interesting elements that we're going to bring to light today.
Can I read my friend's
Before
statement?
I have to show all the evidence that we have gathered.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's no point in reading the statements without showing what we have gathered.
Okay.
Because the aliens at Miami Mall, police says laugh out loud. Okay, perfect. Then let's see also what Paul Joseph Watson at Modernity News has said, because Paul Joseph Watson basically also very skeptic about the whole thing. He's very skeptic, and like I said, there is reason to be skeptic, because people should not believe in anything that comes out of TikTok and just believe in things. Everything should be analyzed. And I tell you, I was a skeptic, but today I am wondering, because soon I'm going to show you something that maybe Paul Joseph Watson didn't catch. He says, aliens caught on camera in Miami, according to idiotic TikTokers. This is basically how Paul Joseph Watson just brushed it off, and we can actually have a quick look at it. So Here it is.
A massive police presence in Miami, Florida, after a large group of juveniles.
So this all started, according to police, with some sort of fight between juvenile groups.
Set off huge fireworks and engaged in running brawls inside a shopping center.
They was fighting, and then they tried to kick people out.
Juveniles? Who could they possibly mean?
Just get away.
Juveniles could be here, he thought. I hate juveniles. Juveniles proceeded to spill out of the shopping center and cause absolute mayhem, smashing up businesses, looting stores, and attacking bystanders. But all that was just the cover story. The reason for the massive police presence wasn't marauding juveniles. It was aliens. Miami's Bayside Marketplace video shows something weird. Glowing figure walking through smoke during a wild siege.
Okay, perfect. So here I completely get why Paul took the stand. But if it wasn't for your friend and what I'm about to show, and that's why I wanted you to wait. I know that you are kind of...
No, it's just my phone. It was annoying me, but it's okay. I can wait.
Because I dismissed this whole thing as complete rubbish, okay?
Yeah, he did.
I completely dismissed it as rubbish until I was shown a video.
From Kathy the Great. She's from Canada.
I want to show you this video because then I managed to trace who this guy was, his father, who is participating to get elected as sheriff in Miami.
And
Who has
Kathy
been for 40
investigated that too.
Yeah, but for 40 years, this guy has been in law enforcement. And so regardless of the fake rubbish that we have here, because suddenly these fake videos with artificial intelligence appeared. So it's obvious, then brush it off. It's all fake, you know. But then watch this video. This guy, because this guy is the son of this, and actually what happened was that your friend Katie saw that he tagged his father, who is the running for sheriff, and then the tag was quickly removed. So this is the guy, the father, Ruamen de la Rua, who is running for Miami-Dade County Sheriff, the candidate with sheriff's office experience. He's a lifelong dedicated law enforcement officer with a combined 40 years experience after serving the Marion County Sheriff Office for 26 years. The son called them, and this is what happened. So I am not, you know, I wrote books, of course, like Invisible Master, Volume 4. I talked about interdimensional portals. Everything is possible. But the information that we were getting was so far out that it was difficult to believe and accept it. If it wasn't for this very interesting call that this kid did to his father, and his father is a sheriff, is Ruamen de la Rua. So check out what is being said in this call.
How have I not heard about this? My dad's a police officer in Miami. And I mean, like, he's even running for sheriff. And I just talked to him. He didn't say anything about that. Hey. Hey, did you, have you been seeing the alien stuff? Did you see that at Bayside?
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Are you serious?
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
You're joking. You're joking.
I'm serious.
Did they tell you not to talk about it?
How many times do you want me to slice the pie? I'm not allowed to talk about it.
What?
I do know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Can you at least say, like, whatever? So, okay, so they're saying it's like a fight broke out. Why did they send so many police cars? Are you serious? You can't say any?
I don't know what else you want me to say.
You're no help, dude.
I'm sorry.
So this is the son of the guy who's running for sheriff. We showed the website before. Is legit. if you see the video, the guy was talking with his father. It's completely legit. Legit. Sorry for my English sometimes. In any case, this is the father. Why was the father so defensive about this whole thing?
Yeah, really.
Now, there has been a series of really far-out videos, though, that have circulated, including this one from a guy who looks like a crackhead. A method or something else. I don't know. He doesn't look like it's... but he says some interesting things. He says to have been a witness to this event at the Bayside Mall in Miami, Florida on January 1st, 2024. Let's check it out.
Getting weirder in Florida, another witness has come forward with his testimony as to what he saw in Bayside Mall on January 1st, 2024. He claims to have witnessed the whole thing unfold. Basically, it centers around a group of teens who had some sort of object that kind of looked like a DVD player that maybe they had created, opened, and it created a portal with an alien being stepping through. Now, he explains in detail of what this thing did and what it was, and it leads to its credibility. The question to ask, though, what happened to these teens? What happened to that object? And how come all the video, the surveillance video, camera, police body cam, the mall security camera, everything's being repressed? And if it was just unruly teens, how come?
Now, I had an explanation for that at the beginning. And I think that the explanation is they are teens, so they are entitled to have more privacy. And so the cameras are not, they're not showing the footage because they're teens, and maybe that is the reason. However, of course, it became a conspiracy of incredible proportions, and I completely understand the position of Paul Joseph Watson in all this.
That was your position.
Because that was my position. What is your position, Christy? Before we move further, why don't you read what Katie said, your friend?
Oh, okay. My position is I don't really care about this stuff, honestly. I stay away from this UFO stuff. I don't research it. I never watched X-Files because I never cared about it. I don't care about this UFO stuff, but that's just me. Other people do, and that's okay. So she said another possibility is that this entire thing is staged, including the graffiti. The graffiti guy you're going to see.
Okay, the graffiti guy. Let's see the graffiti guy, and then we can come back.
Police presence was requested. Take a look at what he has to say and tell me what you think.
Yo, I just got back from Miami, like this morning, and I was over there when all that shit went down at the mall, you know, and there was some stuff going on. Yeah, there was some teenagers involved, and I'll tell you that because I was there. I'll break it down to you as far as like what went down and stuff like that. But there was a bunch of teens, right? And they had some little fucking little like a radio, like a little DVD player. They were fucking around with it. They were like, yeah, watch this. And then I'll show you. Watch, let me flip this shit around. Show you exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, I was in Miami because I was on a little graffiti expo and shit. So I was over there because dudes had me over there so I can go paint, right? So I was hanging around with my mans, and then we went to the mall just, to see what's up. So this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what I'll draw you what can happen. This is what happened. Okay. There was a whole bunch of teens, right? A whole bunch of teens, and they had this little fucking box, like a little DVD player type thing, right? And they were like, yeah, watch, go ahead. And there was a whole bunch of them. They look all nerdy. They weren't like thugged out. They all dressed nice and shit or whatever, but they were just right there, combo and shit. And a lot of them had like backpacks, and some of them had like weird guys glasses, like welding glasses. And I was like, what the fuck? And the other guy was like, just go ahead and plug it in. We're right here. We're safe. And so somebody plugged this shit in, and it started flickering, right? Cause there was a column right here. I was over here on the top. I was up here on the top of the level. They were down here, and I was watching them from over here. Okay. So this shit started flickering, and it was flicking the rows of lights right here. All these lights were flickering. Then it started popping. When it started popping, everybody from over here started running this way to see, because everybody was nosy. And as soon as it started popping, this thing started glowing, and it started going like a force field. Woo, 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 woo. And everybody that was behind this, that I was seeing, everybody looked like.
I must say, initially I thought this guy was a little bit, when I saw the first time this whole thing, I completely dismissed it. I thought this guy is out of it, But he's an artist. He has an artist sensibility. You can see his drawing, His job was to be a graffiti artist, therefore for some kind of, there was a kind of graffiti gathering. So he went to Miami. So he is describing this whole thing. But what did he really see? And what was really happening there? Well, that is really a mystery.
This, like digital. Like it was being disrupted by the wave. Only right here. Not right here. Everything else was still flickering. Right here was still popping. People were running. As soon as they got close and they see how this thing was moving, everybody started going this way. When they started going this way, these guys started backing up because from this, it started glowing and it looked like somebody put a foot out like that. And then somebody put a hand out like that. And then all you see was this. All you see was like this, an image like that. That's all I seen. This was all glowing, so it was bright. This was the dark thing that I thought I seen come out. It looked like that. That's what came out. I was right here looking. It was me and 4 other dudes. 2 other guys ran over here and started filming. I'm waiting for them to give me the footage. But they say they got this thing coming out, and it didn't look like somebody. It looked more like everything got disrupted and was all wavy, and it did that effect. That's what it looked like.
So here, what do you think happened, guys? Because, of course, some of you probably live in Miami. Some of you might know a little bit more. Some of you might be able to send us a video. I don't know. The whole thing is rather confusing, especially when you think about what happened in reality, what the new, because these people end up in jail, and there was some... definitely something happened that of a criminal nature with these juvenile delinquents.
They always cover everything up.
So I mean, what are they trying to do?
They never tell you the truth.
They never tell you the truth. See, I mean, it's you see, at the end of the day, here we are. Sorry, the image tends to be a little bit. Let's see if we can. Get it to start from this point. Like it's kind of a little bit tricky. It's not picking up. Okay, whatever. But what really happened? Let's see if we can pick up.
Come on.
No, it doesn't pick up. There's an alien intervention here.
Okay, well, I think it's true. I do. I think it's true.
This guy works.
I'm a graffiti artist. I can do all kinds of shit with a spray paint can and make shit look like,
Okay. So who should we believe here? I mean, one thing is for sure. It could seem a scam, but why did the father of that guy, who is also a candidate for the sheriff office in Miami, react in this way?
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah. And it's really the guy. It's not like fake. I thought maybe that was just some people saying that, but then you and Kathy had gone and investigated.
In any case, guys, Black people have invented a lot of things, and it seems like Black people have invented probably also fake aliens now at this point. I don't know. I mean, this was a week in the history of mankind in which I had one of the most absurd statements ever. This is not being racist. This is just being realistic. How can you say that basically Black people have invented everything? Listen, I mean, this is not a question of racism, huh?
So the brain drain, Africa really needs the brains. We are the most intelligent race on the face of the planet. We invented almost everything that made this society and every society on the face of the planet human. And when I mean human, I mean as in toilets, sanitary, everything comes from Africa. The chair, the traffic light, the car, the computer. What is it we haven't created?
Now, a disclaimer here. It was an ancestor of mine from England who invented the toilet. So this is literally bullshit. And I can't stand this bullshit. And being basically correct because of race and saying, well, it's fine. You invented the cars, the traffic lights. You invented every fucking thing. And now you invent what? Shopping mall aliens? Well, that's great. We bring in our Kristen Harris, who is actually going to be enlarged. Kristen, 1, 2, 3, enlarged. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show.
Bald heads unite.
Hey, Leo and Christy, long time no see and no talk to you. I think it was 3 years ago today that I got a call from you, Leo, and I was at the front gates of the Capitol building, and I was by the scaffolding, and I was trying to talk to you, and I'm like, what's going on, Leo? Yeah, I can barely hear you. But let's not forget, it's been 3 years since the January 6th event that happened at the Capitol today. And it was just funny because I was thinking about it. It's 3 years to the date.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you know that I had been advising everybody about the danger of going there. I was very skeptic about it. I had told my friends in the Proud Boys chapter in Denver, in other Proud Boys chapters, to not go. Those people who did not go, they still thank me to this day. Please continue. I'm glad that you brought that up also.
Well, yeah, no, it's interesting. I just wanted to say it's been 3 years to the date and how ritualistic and how on point it must be that I'm on your show today, 3 years to the very exact date that we last really communicated over the phone, other than, you know, we hung out over, where was that at? Contact in the Desert. Speaking of aliens, yeah, that's weird. I know what you're talking about, Leo Lyons Zagami, about the whole aliens in Miami, where everyone is taking over TikTok, talking about a bullshit story that there's 100 police officers
like
there for aliens.
Story, Kristen, but did you follow what I showed regarding the son of the guy who is running for sheriff? Because this is something that I would like you to. I mean, I managed, you know, actually as a journalist, I hope you can find out more. And I give you a hint here, because I know that you are the kind of guy who maybe will find this guy and you will knock at his door. So that's why I want to show you here something.
Okay, let's watch it.
Basically, this is the son of somebody who is presently running for sheriff. He's called Ruamen de la Rua. He's running for Miami sheriff here. I'm going to show the actual website, and I'm going to send it to you, because I know your investigative journalist capacity might actually arrive to because this is the father, and now I'm going to show you the video of the son. And I was just like you, Kristen. I have been calling bullshit on this story for the last 24 hours, but I can't explain this video which I'm about to show you, and I would like your opinion, because the last time we met, we actually met a contact in the desert, and it was regarding aliens, no? In June of last year. So I think that it's important that we actually discuss also this topic, aside from the main topic, of course, that we will be discussing with you, which is, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, and there is a lot to discuss about that. But what this guy said, and by the way, we have already showed the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell and what happened in front of the court. We have already discussed the importance of your coming expose for today. But let's watch this passage here, because it's interesting. And I want you to give me your opinion as soon as we manage to see.
How have I not heard about this? My dad's a police officer in Miami, and I mean, like, he's even running for sheriff, and I just talked to him. He didn't say anything about that. Hey. Hey, did you, have you been seeing the alien stuff? Did you see that at Bayside? Are you serious? You're joking. You're joking. Did they tell you not to talk about it?
How many times do you want me to slice the pie? I'm not allowed to talk about it.
What?
I do know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Could you, well, okay, can you at least say like, whatever, so, okay, so they're saying it's like a fight broke out. Why did they send so many police cars? Are you serious? You can't say any? You're no help, dude.
Now, that is the guy I showed you before, Christian, who is running for sheriff, who is the father of this dude who made this TikTok video. Now, what do you think about? Because this sounds a little bit suspicious, at least his defensive attitude. I know it might have nothing to do with the aliens. It might have to do with other things. What do you think is really the problem here? Why is so much on the defensive? This guy has been 40 years in law enforcement. Huh?
First of all, if it was about 10-foot tall gray aliens coming to a mall in Miami, I hope they came here for the good sales that they would have been getting on their recent purchases. You know, whatever they are purchasing on Earth, I'm sure they couldn't have gotten in one of their intergalactic malls. To be honest, if there was gray aliens that visited the mall, I'm sure that all the videos would have been expunged from the internet and probably deleted and or triggered or named fake news immediately. The fact that no one's jumped on this as fake news lets me think that this is just all part of a propaganda machine. But I believe full-heartedly that this may have had to do with something more sinister, like a possible active shooter at the mall and or possible
a terrorist attack, maybe even a terrorist attack,
or even a terrorist attack. Yeah, we just don't know, because look at what happened in Las Vegas. We still don't know the result or the answers of Las Vegas. Or remember, was it 2 years ago on Christmas, the Nashville bomber? Remember? And people said, oh, it looked like a drone was shot a missile and blew up the RV where the gentleman was staying. And he literally put a Bluetooth speaker on the ground, and there's no video of the guy, but they had complete surveillance of the guy's camper that was parked out in Nashville. Like, this information is just trash. And yes, it's allowed to be propagandized and it's allowed to be aggregated, but honest information by people like Alex Jones or like you and I or Joe Rogan or David Icke or Jordan Maxwell or any of these other individuals gets completely censored. And that should go a long way to tell you what they are trying to push in the narratives that they want to push. It's kind of like during the Kenosha unrest and the George Floyd protest, when I would go live, I would have 20,000 viewers in my live stream. But now when I go live on the Rundown Live on Facebook, I'm lucky to get 2, it's because, it's what they want to advertise. Why is it that they want to advertise this and allow
we
it?
had since October 2020, which was the month before the election, we had 17 YouTube channels removed. So it's and now in the last 2 months, Facebook just
we're not on Facebook anymore.
Well, I mean, I can post, but we can't broadcast. They simply said I went too far, and with the inciting hate, which I never did. There was historical, actually, transmission. I was doing broadcasts based on the history of occultism and stuff, so it was nothing inciting anything. But they have banned us from Facebook. So we are, of course, today on Band of Video, which I know it's also one of your favorite outlets. And we will be broadcasting this on Band of Video in a few hours. It's already being broadcast live on YouTube, but no longer on Facebook because, of course, censorship dominates. Now, let's go to your story, because you have been a protagonist directly of something. I mean, here we are with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. It was 2021, December 2021. You were there reporting on this whole thing. You were actually the only one reporting on this whole thing. And that's why, in a way, you came under the attention of the sister of Ghislaine Maxwell, possibly, allegedly, that, she was there. She was the one photographing you. Did you
things, but we should look. If you guys are out there, you know a little bit, just drop it in the chat.
Did you felt threatened when she suddenly turned around and started to photograph you and the others?
Well, so what instigated her to photograph everyone is because she was targeting me specifically. This is Isabel Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, and I was asking her about her position on the Economic Forum and transhumanism, synthetic biology, and then I was asking her about the Bilderberg Group, and then I started to, tease her and go, Z-Bilderbergers, tell me about Z-Bilderbergers, and she didn't like that. She knew I was talking about the Bilderbergers. And then a reporter from the New York Times next to me said, stop harassing her. Now watch her. She's going to look at me right in my eyes. You see that? She looked me right in the eyes. She took my photograph. And guess what happened the next day? Somebody broke into my Airbnb and stole my laptop. Not my nice bottle of expensive unopened whiskey, not my marijuana, which is legal in Jersey City, not anything else that we had there. There was TVs there. There's all sorts of things the person could have stolen. They came in through the front window, removed the air conditioner, went through the first Airbnb, broke down my door of the second Airbnb through the kitchen like they knew where they were going, and then stole my laptop, and that was it. That's all they took, and they left out, and the video shows the culprit leaving with my laptop,
Now,
and then that's all they stole.
Christian, we are showing the images. Now, can you describe it? Because this is your Airbnb, and this is the guy who actually stole your computer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what we heard is what you don't hear is in the audio, a car pulls up and drops him off. So it is common that they find some low-life scum or somebody who's homeless and they give them a couple $100 to do this kind of stuff and tell them exactly what to do. Hey, the air conditioner in the front is loose. You can just pull it right out. Go ahead, go through the front door, go into the back door, break down the door, no matter what you got to do. There's nobody in there, and grab whatever information you can find on this guy. That's how these scumbags work. And I was targeted specifically because I know I was drilling her about the Bilderberg Group, secret organizations like the Wilsberg Society, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, all those things. We were asking her about her father's involvement with Mossad and her software potentially being used to steal the atomic bomb secrets for Israel. All that stuff, all these things that allegedly we were, that nobody really talks about. And yeah, she took my photograph. Now, whether or not she was responsible for breaking into my Airbnb and just stealing my laptop, I don't know. I mean, it could be a coincidence, Leo. What do you think?
Well, of course, we have to say it's a coincidence because you never know. These guys might always be able to do a lawsuit, say, "Oh, you accuse me unjustly."
Right. I don't know for sure. She seemed like a nice old lady to stare me down like that and take my photograph. And just so happened the next day somebody broke into my Airbnb. And by the way, I was the only reporter there every day. And the big thing that separates me from every other reporter there, I released all the witness testimonies verbatim from the stenographer's actual hand source typed verbatim witness testimony. So all the direct words were released because on the Rundown Live, the rundownlive.com, my website. You can still find them of all four witnesses. That's how we found out that the first witness, Jane Doe, was a star on Days of Our Lives. I had Kelly McGuire's witness testimony, the FBI agent, who said that they acquired hard drives with over 40,000 videos and photographs. Where's that info? Where are those videos? Where are those photographs?
Now, I want to interrupt you here because, in the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of talk about Megyn Kelly saying something. I know already that probably this is something you yourself have been investigated along with many others, but I think it's important to go back to what Megyn Kelly has said, because at this point, we also go back to the first moments of when he died, and in reality, they brought out a body that didn't really look like him, and there was a lot of speculation. But having said that, let's show
Epstein. I can tell you that for a fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year, and you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell you.
How is she going to say that?
Yeah, okay. What does this mean? It can mean that they have some testimony, of course, that they still have to publish and make public a video testimony. But do you think he was put under a protection program? Could he be still alive?
Well, there's part of me that has always believed he's sitting on some island sipping on margaritas with Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein somewhere, jokingly.
Then
But
you got also you can start adding Elvis Presley. It could become a real conspiracy Marvel.
well, but you get it. But there's part of me that wonders that, because we never really saw a photograph of Jeffrey Epstein after he was allegedly murdered. And he was working with Mossad. He definitely had ties to the CIA. He had blackmail information on so many elite people. And so either they could have had a witness testimony, or they could have had AI create a witness testimony. And first of all, if you were going to assassinate or switch out a body with Jeffrey Epstein, it wouldn't be hard these days. With facial recognition, all they would have to do is look for false positives across the United States and make some old person in a nursing home go missing, right? That looks like Jeffrey Epstein, and switch him out if they so truly wanted to. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, and then they could just send him on his way to some island for plastic surgery while he's sipping on margaritas, or hanging out at Zorro Ranch, right? They never really raided Zorro Ranch, where
well, actually, at one point, I tell you, I was coming back from Austin, Texas, driving, and I passed in front of Zorro Ranch, which has this little road you go up, and I immediately remember I stopped and said, "This is Zorro Ranch." Suddenly I saw it. I was like, I was illuminated. And Christy was, "What is Zorro Ranch?" I said, "What is Zorro Ranch?" If we go up here, we're probably going to be arrested after 50 meters if we attempt going close to it. But I mean, it was in the middle of nowhere. Let me tell you, we were driving in New Mexico in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly this Zorro Ranch appeared. And I understand why he was there. It's a very secluded place, very, very secluded place, just like his island. And but at this point, we had the first bunch, the second bunch, the third bunch. We had all this talk about Bill, now even Hillary, all these famous people. The good thing is that Donald J. Trump is absolutely innocent at this point, because the evidence that is coming up is showing that he had never indulged in anything like Bill Clinton instead. So it's a good thing.
Well, to be honest, we can't really say for sure that we know the full extent of Donald Trump's involvement. He was very involved in Victoria's Secret. And let's not forget, Les Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret, was Jeffrey Epstein's handler. So if you want to go up the pyramid, it goes up from Jeffrey Epstein to Les Wexner.
Remember one thing, Trump said, I kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago because he was harassing young girls.
That is correct.
And this is a great thing. I think it shows his integrity. And the fact that now he's really, I think I even have an ad he has run recently, Trump, that also involves showing how all these people, they're all part of the same club. The Clintons, Klaus Schwab, the Max Gilliam, they're all part of the same club. And Trump has been a maverick and somebody who has rebelled and who has definitely become their worst nightmare. I think that the way Trump has reacted to the latest information is definitely very different from RFK Jr. He is much more shady. I saw the way he replied to the News Nation journalist. What did you think about Kennedy's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein?
It's pretty interesting. I actually spoke at a South by Southwest event talking about the magic behind words, which has to do with occultism, as you know, Leo, and right before Robert F. Kennedy. So I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I would say that it's very interesting that he had involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not really sure to what extent. I did see his name on the list. I found that very fascinating. And it's surprising that out of the presidential candidates that we see, I'm surprised that Joe Biden wasn't on the list, or Hunter Biden was not on the list. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do turn up on some flight logs in the future. But it's interesting to see that Robert F. Kennedy is on that list, and he is running for president, and so is Donald Trump. When it comes to Donald Trump, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in jail before this election takes place. I'm just saying.
You have a really negative outlook.
Well, I'm just telling you a negative outlook. I'm just being genuinely honest with you. I wouldn't put anything past the deep state. Now, is Donald Trump Do I feel he's guilty? I don't know. I don't think he's guilty, but we'd have to wait till all evidence come out. And I think Donald Trump could.
You mean guilty of what? Because here there is so many court trials he has. Guilty of what? I mean, what are we discussing here? I mean, I think that Trump has demonstrated, of course, that the business deals that he did with his company in New York regarding, of course, his estate and, you know, it's a practice that was basically done by everybody. So, you know, the fact that you claim this place is to a certain value, and then now Letitia, that they do it. Letitia James, instead for Letitia James, it becomes a crime.
Right. I agree with you. Like, Leo, see, listen, they don't like Donald Trump. There's no doubt about it. He's very anti-New World Order. He's anti-United Nations. So in those check boxes, I feel that he's a very positive thing. He goes after child trafficking. He busted more child traffickers and pedophiles than any other president in recent history. After Joe Biden, now we have Joe Biden, where we have so many minorities coming across the border and children that could be being trafficked just by coming over the border back into Mexico, for all we know. I think that there's a lot to say there with Donald Trump and a lot of the legislature he passed, including the Breonna Taylor Act. But at the same time, he did pass the most draconian gun regulation in American history, too. So I just want to be completely fair and honest. I think that he might be the best option on the board when we come to the ballots in 2024. And I think that we need to keep an eye on the government and the deep state pulling shady things, like trying to pull them off the ballot. You tell me that you're pulling them off the ballot, but you didn't steal the election in 2020. Why do you need to pull them off the ballots if you didn't steal the election in 2020? It's kind of interesting to see the behavior of the government acting almost like a guilty bully. Just saying.
Now, I found very interesting the fact that you kind of got almost involved directly because of this burglary. Was there ever any follow-up to your? I mean, your computer was not found in Hunter Biden's house. I mean, he loses computer. He tends to leave them for repair and forgets them. Was there any follow-up by the police to this event?
There's no returning of the laptop. There was no laptop found. There was, listen, all my files were backed up. I used what was called a Hackintosh, which is a very hard to break into laptop. It's a PC that uses Mac. So the odds that they were able to even access it or get any intel off of it is very unlikely because of the way I had the laptop protected. So it's interesting, but no, nothing. There's nothing on there except for that research. I keep that laptop so clean that every time I start something new, the only thing on it is the project I'm working on. So all they would have had is the information I had on that current event. None of my Bilderberg documents are on there. None of my old research on the Library of Congress and the Bavarian Illuminati was on there. None of that stuff. Just the documents that you're seeing here, which are the stenographer's witness testimony of what was said verbatim in court. I paid to have those released, not CNN, not Fox. Nobody else decided to spend their own money. It was $1 per page, and there was probably 1,000 pages per day. And I had to surgically go in there and get all the information for the people out there. So the big question here is now that we have a list of over 100 associates of Jeffrey Epstein, what I think that somebody should do is try to find all the flight logs of all these individuals and see how many common contact points they have to see who the new Jeffrey Epstein is. Leo, just like when the drug dealers of old got busted, people still have to get their fix, right? Marijuana dealer gets busted. What happens? People get their marijuana somewhere else. Cocaine dealer gets busted. People get their cocaine dealer somewhere else. Pedophile dealer gets busted. Well, guess what? These pedophiles are probably getting it from someplace else. And the question is where? And I think a good way to investigate this would be able to look at all the flight histories and see how many of these individuals have other individuals and points in common. Maybe you have 50 or 60 of the same individuals all of a sudden visiting someplace in Canada or Mexico. And I think it might be interesting to look into that.
You know that what made news this week was also the interview to Jeffrey Epstein's brother by Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
An interview in which we saw some very interesting points being made by the brother.
Epstein hung around with while he was alive. People who flew on his airplane, people who stayed on his private island in the Caribbean, those who had dinner at his home off Fifth Avenue in New York. And to some extent, those names are coming out, not all of them, but we know a lot of the people who are in Jeffrey Epstein's life, and we have.
Now, here further on, it talks, and of course, the whole thing about what really happened also regarding the fact that there was basically the night of the alleged suicide, they left the doors of all the cells open. There were 14 criminals that could go inside here. This is what happened.
You'd have to be standing at that window inside the other cells in the middle of the night looking towards Jeff's cell. And if somebody crept low beneath the height of that window, you wouldn't see them. So the fact that, to say that he could be seen from 3 other cells and they didn't see anything, well, chances are the other prisoners were sleeping in those cells if they had nothing to do with it. So again, it's just like a cover-up line.
Right. So in other words, the Attorney General said that nobody moved on to the cell block, according to the videotape, but that is irrelevant because if your brother was murdered, he was almost certainly murdered by someone who was already on the cell block.
So he then goes on saying that he tried to know who was on that block, but nobody would tell him, of course, those names. They are top secret. So what do you think about this?
Well, there's a couple of things that stand out. First of all, I remember that there was rumors of employees of that jail going to forums claiming that they wheeled Epstein out onto a military truck and took him away. I don't think that could be true, but I'm just saying that that's just information out there for people to digest. Maybe he was murdered by an inmate and it was asphyxiation. And I think that's what Mark Epstein went on and said. It came out that he was actually murdered and it wasn't suicide, and that they said it was suicide in a close-cut case. And I know that there's pictures out there suggesting that his ears didn't match up with the individual.
These are in fact the pictures. I mean, Epstein alive has one kind of ear, one kind of nose. Epstein dead has a nose is very different.
Remember when I was telling you, Leoline Zagami, that all the government has to do is use their facial recognition software and put in a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and wait for a false positive across the United States. Could be even a homeless person. And if he looks like him and it's a false positive, all they have to do is switch out that body, and then Jeffrey Epstein could be sitting in custody someplace. Or they could be fake pictures, or AI could have made those pictures. Nowadays, we know artificial intelligence can just generate bullshit.
So in reality, these latest revelations are showing us a possibility that Epstein might be under protection, or Epstein might have left some further video testimony also. Now, these batches continue to come to light. Now we are at the 4th batch, I think, 3rd or 4th batch, and there is more and more names. What are the names that lately have kind of, make you raise an eyebrow saying, this is, wow. Well, I mean, apart from Michael Jackson, I don't know what Michael Jackson would do with the ladies there, the young lady, because Michael Jackson was into little kids.
Well, who's to say that they only had little ladies there?
Okay. So
I'm just saying, like, we don't know the full scope of things, and not everyone likes little. If you're looking for blackmail and extortion, what better way than small young boys too? It doesn't have to be young girls; it could be young boys and girls, for that matter. But we know that obviously Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, who was recently on Tucker Carlson, the actor Chris Rock. We also have David Copperfield, the magician. We have Alan Dershowitz, which was a prolific lawyer. We also have
now let's talk about Dershowitz, because I saw him coming out. Of course, he's always on TV. Either he's on Fox, either he's on Newsmax. He's always being somebody quite out there, now giving his own opinion. But regarding Epstein, when I saw him talking, I just couldn't digest it, man. I just couldn't digest it. There's something wrong about the way he was exposing the whole thing, like fake.
Well, when you have a guy who is put onto a case, it's very possible that he himself is at some point subjugated and or being put on the job because he's the right person to, represent Jeffrey Epstein. What was that? He represented him in 2006. So he might have also found a way to benefit from that, or had to become initiated in order to verify that he would win. Who knows why he was on the flight logs, or whether or not he was at Epstein's Little St. James or Zorro Ranch. But Alan Dershowitz, as we know, if you're going to represent Jeffrey Epstein, it takes a special kind of lawyer, like a Hillary Clinton, who represented these types of scumbags. Jeffrey Epstein being represented by Alan Dershowitz. What kind of lawyer would actually take that case in representation? Of course, Epstein has a lot of money, so I'm sure there's somebody out there that would take the money to represent him. Same thing with people who represented Ghislaine Maxwell.
Another big name that I think you maybe have forgot, but it's essential in all this. Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates visited him a whole bunch. In fact, that is why he's getting divorced. His wife specifically mentioned his visitation.
Yeah, it was Melinda. Melinda made it public that she was upset. So I mean, it's not like it's not.
And Bill Gates was known to have parties with nude women and big pool parties.
But there was also something else that came out also yesterday, a bit in the mainstream news. We know that he was into a DNA program, in which he wanted to seed the women to create some kind of special race of genetically enhanced human beings. Right, this is the reality of it. It's not just, he was into this kind of thing.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I found out about his involvement by a whistleblower by the name of Rachel Haywire. She's a transhumanist artist and culturalist, and she's spent time with these billionaires on their yachts, amongst other things, where they worship AI gods. And she told me personally that he was trying to seed the planet with his entire seed, to make himself some kind of god figure, like the father of a new species, much like Noah.
Forget, nowadays we are in 2023. People maybe don't know this, but Genghis Khan tried to seed half of the world. Half of the world has the DNA of Genghis Khan. The first Tsar of Russia seeded over 10,000 women to manifest his power over the whole nation that will then develop into becoming Russia, because the first Tsar was instead a Scandinavian. So he developed then the Slavic. So the actual fact of being an emperor, a king, was connected to then spread your seed as much as possible. And that will be done with, of course, the legal children who was part of the princes and the whole thing, and then the many, many, many legal ones, not illegal, how you say? Illegitimate, yes, illegitimate. Even in my family, we had an illegitimate side in Chile. So, it was a practice that was quite common for the aristocrats and for the royal families. So, Jeffrey Epstein kind of, let's not forget, and I mentioned this at the beginning because I also include, as you know, my book, Volume 8, has a picture of Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell in Buckingham Palace when they actually attended the 18th birthday of Princess Beatrice. We have also the involvement of Prince Andrew. And Prince Andrew, at the moment, as you know, has paid Virginia Giuffre to be silent. But at the same time now, the situation is getting to a point in which maybe that payment will be bypassed because the authorities want to know more from Prince Andrew. And there is a prophecy by Nostradamus that the British aristocracy, the British royalty will be in great trouble this year in 2024. So what do you think will happen here?
Well, I think Virginia Giuffre will get paid out. I think that she'll get her money.
Well, she already got, I think, over $15 million. The problem with Virginia Giuffre, or Giuffre, however you want to call her, I have read also the last batch and tried to study her position. But, she is no better than Ghislaine Maxwell. She was actually bringing for money all these young 14 years old and cashing in and pimping them basically to Dan Gillen and so what makes better? You know, now she plays the saint. What makes her better than Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, first of all, we have to look at the fact that she was underage and a naive child. It wasn't at the full time that she was an adult, from my understanding. I'm not saying that
There is
any
some
act is
testimony that I actually read even in your own public reports about the fact that at one point she brings this young girl and then she mounts Jeffrey Epstein while he's watching.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. And she was involved in bringing young girls to Jeffrey Epstein or new talent. And it's funny, Leo, that we're talking about this because remember all those occult rumors of the Illuminati and you sleep with the movie director and you get the role. Well, here's Epstein giving all these girls who worked for him prominent positions or hookups. One of the girls was a famous the star of Days of Our Lives. One of them was a famous model. One was a singer. They all seem to have benefited at some level.
One of them killed herself, and she went to the island, and she was a young Russian model that basically after suicided herself. And now, of course, that the name is coming out, they are connecting finally this tragic death of this Russian model who was just turned 18 when she was brought to Jeffrey Epstein Island a few weeks before Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. And then she killed herself. Terrible story. And so many were probably, we don't know the extent, but as I said in volume 8, we have also the involvement of a French agent, model agent. And Jeffrey Epstein, as the brother said, was actually in Paris before being arrested. He was very connected with and the scene in the famous Roman Polanski movie with Johnny Depp, The Ninth Gate. I mean, Paris and France is the headquarters for Satanism. It's not just a joke. And Jeffrey Epstein was right there before being arrested. And all those models, Paris is the capital of fashion, but it's also the capital of these models who get enslaved by these people.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you came on today, Kristen, and please tell our viewers where they can find your excellent work.
Well, absolutely. Before we go, there's something else I have to mention. One of the witnesses at the trial that I was at, Carolyn, I think she was the third witness or fourth witness that I documented, did commit suicide of an overdose just recently, and she was scheduled to receive money potentially. So it's very unlikely that and she quit doing drugs, they said. So how is it that all of a sudden she overdosed and her family is calling foul play, although the law enforcement and others are saying that she probably just went back to doing drugs and overdosed. But I just wanted to point that out. And also people should research who is the new Jeffrey Epstein, because that's a big thing. What happened to these videos, the hard drive of 40,000 videos and photographs? What's on there? That should be released to the public, amongst other things. And people should investigate a lot of these individuals or anyone that had any work to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Anyways, you guys can find my show, The Rundown Live, at therundownlive.com. You can find the full list of all the names listed on the Jeffrey Epstein court records now on therundownlive.com. It is right there, therundownlive.com. Our show airs weeknights, 5 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and is aired on KGRA after Clyde Lewis at midnight till 2 a.m. Central Standard Time, or 10 p.m. till midnight Western Pacific Standard Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And or you can find us on Rumble, The Rundown Live, Facebook, Twitter. We're not on YouTube like you, Leo Lion Zagami. They removed me after the January 6th footage went viral and the Kyle Rittenhouse footage went viral.
Well, they actually
removed us too.
They removed us too, but we insisted.
Come back.
We come back. We are past. We just keep on coming. We kind of didn't give up. I tell you, we of course don't have, like you said before, the viewers we might have had before, but it's very important to be present on YouTube, even if of course I think they have some limitations in what we can say. I think that we have understood now after all this time what triggers or not the algorithms. Having said that, I think that in this new format, I would like to have you every now and then here reporting for us on your discoveries. And I'm sure that you will be accomplishing a lot of other interesting work, because you are an excellent investigative journalist. Christian, let me compliment you for your work and for your persistence also, because you need to be a little bit of a pest to do the kind of investigative journalism.
Well, I also ask for your prayers, because as you know, in this fight against evil, that we need to bring together the love of God, the power of goodness, and defeat this evil force that is literally a parasite to this planet. We need to bring awareness. People are waking up. And my question is this the year of war? Is this the year of biblical prophecy coming true? And we need to pay attention to these things and read everything, listen to everyone, but don't believe unless we can prove it with our own two hands. We need to search our hearts and come together and put away our differences and find out a way to fight this evil, because this evil is taking over one of the last bastions of freedom, the United States. Right now, China's buying up our roads and our movie companies and our politicians, you name it. The lobbyism on both sides is just buying right and left, and we're getting basically two evil choices for election every year. We need to get out there and elect good people. We need to get out there and spread the good word, Leo. And I appreciate you for giving me a platform to talk to you, and I can't wait to have you on the Rundown Live again.
Thank you so much, Christian. Well said. And of course, welcome into this 2024. Whatever it brings us, we will be hopefully protected by God.
Why are you saying hopefully? We will be.
We will be. That's it. We will be.
Thank you, Christy. You tell them, Christy.
I gotta do that.
No pizza for you, Leo, for the next week.
Okay, but the devil is creeping in here. It's creeping in.
The devil says you're always giving me the dickens, telling me that life's no easy pickings. But just as long as I have fun, why the devil with the devil says you can have your social teas and bingo for your fun.
Thank you, Christian, for participating to our first show of the new year with this new format that wants to bring our news analysis again on contemporary subjects after studying the whole, exploring the whole cult Illuminati for a whole year. Now we are back into the news, and guests like Christian will be, of course, attending this show. So thank you, everybody. See you soon. Up to that. Take care, guys. God bless you.